Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Men Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike. With me, as always, is my friend Andrew. And this week, we got a massive load of information and content to share with you. Off the top, though, we're going to be doing some news. We're gonna talk a lot about that news, all the changes that have happened since last week. Free agency is opened, and we got special guests with us, Ryan, in here with us tonight, and we're going to be doing a divisional breakdown, the AFC West. First off, Andrew, how you doing?
Not too bad. And yourself?
I'm doing all right. I've had my first beer in quite a while, so again, cheers, boys! Thanks for sharing this drink with me this evening.
Cheers, man.
And Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to be here, talk some football. I picked the right week, I think.
Yeah, it's unreal the amount of moves. Some of the landing spots are juicy, and some of them are controversial. The decision-making process this year seems to be, I don't know what is motivating some of the teams to choose, who they're picking, why they're picking, why they're paying them, some of the salaries that are getting paid. I don't even know where to begin. It's Wednesday, March 12th. Yep, it's still March 12th. Free agency opened. And I'm assuming this was you, Ryan. Thank you very much. Breaking it down by positions.
Yeah, I tried to fill it all in. I mean, we had just one trade just an hour ago. Not trade, pickup signing just an hour ago too. That I
Who was that?
So, that was Rico Dowdle to the Panthers.
No. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
That's a good spot for him.
Well,
because that'll put him near the top of the food chain there.
Okay, let's talk about it then. Rico Dowdle signs with the Panthers. They re-signed Miles Sanders. They signed Chuba Hubbard, and they've got Jonathan. Is it Jonathan Taylor? No, Jonathan Stewart? Brooks. Jonathan Brooks. Too many Jonathans. Something Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Brooks. Okay, Jonathan Brooks. So to me, that is a really muddied backfield now because Chuba Hubbard was the guy. He got paid first, but they brought back Miles Sanders, and Jonathan Brooks was a high draft pick but had injury. Rico Dowdle played well for Dallas when he got the rock, but now he's competing again.
Yeah, it's a weird move in my opinion.
He might be the
sad for Brooks though.
It is.
They don't see him in the near future. So
well, unless we're using that as maybe a future trade thing down the road.
Like use him as somebody to trade away.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you've got multiple quality assets, someone might come knocking, but from what I'm hearing, this draft class is deep at the running back position. So I'm happy these guys got jobs and got a paycheck, but will they keep their jobs and get paid by the end of the year? That is a big question.
Yeah,
all right,
it's sad, the running backs, what they get paid nowadays, looking at the contract amounts compared to some of these other free agent signings.
Hey, some guys get paid, like Saquon Barkley and CMC. They get paid, but not everybody produces like that.
No terms for Dowdle yet because it was just breaking news.
Okay.
So there's no number to give, but I don't know.
My goodness, I haven't even seen this yet. Oh man, okay, we got to talk about this stuff. Let's start from the top. I think first off, we got DK Metcalf to the Steelers, big trade, big paycheck.
Yeah, I don't understand that one.
Obviously,
now they have two deep threats.
Well, they got two wide receivers, but they don't have a quarterback yet.
Yeah.
Wait, has that changed? Have they signed a quarterback?
No, that one's still.
But that's so weird, right? They spent big money to get a wide receiver. They let go Najee Harris. We'll talk about him in a bit. And what are they doing for quarterback? Justin Fields is gone. He signed. We'll talk about him. Like he's gone. Aaron Rodgers is left. Kirk Cousins is still on the Atlanta Falcons. They haven't released him. Aaron Rodgers. Geez, who's the other guy that's behind? Russell Wilson. Is he coming back? Will they bring him back?
Who knows?
Ooh, right? Okay. Next up, Devontae Adams goes to the Rams. I thought that one was rather weird. I realized that Devontae wanted to go back to LA or California somewhere, but he signed with the Rams, and then a week later they cut Cooper Kupp.
Basically, him and Kupp are the same thing. And
yeah.
They're paying Adams more money than Kupp wanted, so that one makes no sense.
I realized Kupp had a down year injury-wise, but Matthew Stafford is going to throw to Devontae Adams now? Like, to me, Devontae Adams isn't any better than Cooper Kupp.
No. Not anymore.
I mean, you feel bad, like, for Kupp, definitely, because, like, oh, he's 31. You know, they don't want an aging wide receiver anymore who's fallen off. So they drop the 31-year-old and pick up 32-year-old Devontae Adams instead. So it's like,
Right? Like that's just insulting. I would think if I'm the Detroit Lions, I'll offer a lowball deal for Cooper Kupp. Come play with your buddy Jared Goff.
he's released, man. He's
So-
done. So just like, yeah, he'll probably just take whatever he can get.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Godwin re-signs with the Bucs, which I think is a smart move considering he had an injury, but he got paid decently. So to me, this is good. I like Chris Godwin going back to the Bucs. Any comments?
It's for him, it's a no-brainer. He's toward the end of his career. Finish off your career with the team you've had your best years with.
I mean, he was really rocking it last year. He was doing great, but I personally have Jalen McMillan in our No Fun League, so I wasn't as thrilled. I was hoping that, you know, Godwin or Evans would move on or something and open up a slot for the promising.
You know what?
They'll probably start to take more of a diminished role because they're aging out. Again, it's nice to see a guy kind of stick with the team that stuck with him while he was hurt and stuff like that, and finish off your career with them.
It
All
kind
right.
of reminds me of the Seattle situation with Metcalf and Lockett being like a little bit older, and then you know you're kind of rookie waiting behind him. So
Yes,
JSN's trying to get.
Well, he's got it all open now, but you know
It's all him.
McMillan's got to wait until that Tampa Bay falls apart like Seattle did in the receiving core.
Okay, guys, can I put a pause in this for a quick second? I just opened up the NFL.com official tracker, and in the first group, I already see 3 things that have happened that we don't have listed here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the NFL.com list of activities since day 1. And if we miss something on their sheet, hopefully we've captured it on our sheet. So bear with me. AFC East Buffalo Bills. They signed Josh Allen, 6-year deal worth $330 million with $250 guaranteed. That's a big deal. They have signed running back Darrington Evans on a free agent deal, no terms yet. Running back Ty Johnson has re-signed on a 2-year, $5 million deal. They picked up wide receiver Josh Palmer on a 3-year, $36 million, $18 million guaranteed deal. Wow, okay. He didn't do anything last year. Khalil Shakir, wide receiver, signed a 4-year extension worth $60 million, including $32 million guaranteed. That's important. I think that's good. In some defensive moves, they did sign Joey Bosa. That makes them stronger. Nothing else I'm really seeing here. Miami Dolphins signed quarterback Zach Wilson to a 1-year deal, so he's the backup now. They signed wide receiver Dwayne Eskridge to a 1-year deal. They signed Nick Westbrook-Akine of Tennessee Titans touchdown fame to a 2-year, $3.2 million deal. That's a steal. So we missed that one. New England.
I was just going for the high level ones here.
But that's
in our show deck.
That's okay. No, that's totally fair. But I think that's important to note, at least the Nick Westbrook-Akine, because towards the end of the season last year, he emerged as one of their top targets at Tennessee, and now he's gone. Joshua Dobbs took a quarterback job as the backup over for the Patriots. The Patriots signed wide receiver Mac Hollins to a 2-year deal.
Just burying the lead, Mike. Mac Hollins, look at the Patriots making moves,
picking up guys who don't even wear shoes.
Man,
they re-signed tight end
DK Metcalf could come over to the Patriots. That would have been way better than.
That would have been way better. They did make a defensive signing that I loved, and I'm really mad at my Lions they didn't do this. They signed Carlton Davis to a 3-year, $60 million deal. Unfortunately, the Lions had the shot, and they wouldn't pay the money. Sucks. I liked him. He was really good.
Yeah, that's great.
Great for the Patriots.
A lot of cap space, so let's get some guys.
Bring some talent. The Jets signed quarterback Justin Fields to a 2-year, $40 million deal. So $30 million is fully guaranteed, including a $15 million signing bonus. And he gets a $5 million salary this year. And from what I understand, he only took the deal because they guaranteed he would be the starter, no competition. What do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, Justin Fields is it is a weird time for quarterback right now. If you're a team in need of a quarterback, this was a shitty offseason for you. The NFL draft is not brimming with top talent, so the Jets had to do something interesting.
I think it's a deal of a deal.
I mean, it's fine. He's a guy. What do you think's gonna? So this year he's a starter. Do you think next year he's a starter for the Jets?
I think he can win them ball games. We saw what happened in Chicago. We saw what he was doing in Pittsburgh. He could win games. He's not going to win you games, but he can win games. So is he the long-term solution? No, I think the money says it all. They're not making a huge financial commitment to him, but they needed somebody, as you said, and there's not a lot of choices. So they got someone they think they could work with and manufacture those wins. That's the feeling here. It's kind of one of those, we're going to bring you in, kind of like how Geno Smith got a job after failing for so long. And maybe magic will happen and you'll rebound and you'll resurrect your career with this new opportunity. But if you don't, we're not financially tied to you. We can move on, or you can become the backup and we'll get somebody new, but we got you for now.
I think he represents a little more of the hope, a little more of the unknown, some of the other free agent options.
Taking a shot. It's a gamble.
If he can somehow put it together, to be a passer, but he's had a lot of opportunities so far. So I feel like
we've seen.
Yeah, I think we've seen it, but
okay.
Who knows? There's a little strand of hope, I guess.
Okay. All right, moving to the AFC North. This one we missed. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins signs a 1-year, $6 million deal with the Ravens. It's a big name who's been irrelevant for almost 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't highlight it. I don't think it's going to make a big splash. He really kind of let down in the playoffs and Super Bowl for the Chiefs.
He wasn't relevant. Yeah. Okay. All right. Samaje Perine somehow still has a job, signing a 2-year deal worth $3.8 million with the Bengals. Surprise. T. Higgins signed
his... Happy to hear that if you're the Chase Brown manager, right?
Yeah, no competition, just quality backup. T. Higgins signed he received, I don't know if he signed it yet. He probably won't sign it until after training camp. Mike Gesicki re-signed. He's got a 3-year deal, $25 million, $12 million in year 1. I think that's actually really good. So if you are the Mike Gesicki owner, I think you have some value of what could be relevant. Now, granted, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase will be top of that pecking order, but you might have a break glass in case of emergency type of player.
I think it makes sense. I was the Eric All owner who had a ACL injury. He flashed a little bit, and looks like
he's done.
That lotto ticket isn't going to hit, so it makes sense that they signed Gesicki, I guess.
The Cleveland Browns picked up Kenny Pickett in exchange for Dorian Thompson-Green and a 5th-round pick. Now, should we read anything into this?
Yeah, enjoy your new quarterback, Cleveland.
Do you think he is? Do you think he's going to compete and take it? Because Dorian Thompson-Green saw a lot of playing time last year.
Well, he got traded, Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Yeah, he's gone. And if you got rid of him, who else do you have? Deshaun Watson and Kenny Pickett? Is Kenny Pickett going to compete?
I think he's the quarterback, man. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but we just talked about with Fields. It's like the options are so limited. You got a guy that has started games before. It's gonna go for your club. I don't know. I guess
one of the things I think they're hoping is just that change in environment, like Sam Darnold, change in environment, and it clicks for him and he takes off. It happened with Geno Smith his first year in Seattle.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it's a big gamble, and it paid off for them for a few years. So maybe.
We have had a few resurgences like that in the past years that have all surprised me. Geno, Darnold,
Old man Flacco.
Baker. Yeah. So
Flacco was something.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Pickett.
Okay. Is there a chance my Kenny Pickett shares in Superflex might be valuable again? At least like more than the penny they're worth now?
They got to just be going for someone in the draft. If they traded for someone now, there's not really that much else on the market.
No,
I mean,
there's
they
not.
got to just take a later round QB and just.
I'm guessing, yeah. Wow. Kenny Pickett possibly starting for the Cleveland Browns. All right, let's keep moving. Running back Kenneth Gainwell signed a 1-year deal in Pittsburgh. So it's him and Jalen Warren right now. Okay.
I think Warren's probably getting the bulk of the work.
I would suspect, I imagine they probably draft somebody too. So I don't think it's just going to be just those guys. We talked about DK Metcalf already. Tight end Donald Parham. Veteran tight end Donald Parham signs with the Steelers, which I don't get. Like, why do you need so many tight ends? You got Darnell Washington. You've got Pat Freiermuth, who's kind of like your dude. And now you brought in Donald Parham. Interesting choice.
Potentially a better blocker.
Well, maybe. Let's talk about them Houston Texans. They signed running back Dare Ogunbowale to a 2-year deal. He's back. They signed wide receiver Braxton Berrios for special team purposes to a 1-year deal. They traded for Christian Kirk. This is kind of a big deal because they traded for the guy. They lose Stephon Diggs. They get Christian Kirk. I actually kind of like it because I liked Christian Kirk. I don't think he's a top tier wide receiver, but I think he's a good complement to Nico Collins. And now it just really makes me believe in Nico Collins.
What's to say about Tank Dell, though?
I think Tank Dell's days are done. Sadly, great year 2 years ago. And then last year, hit or miss, inconsistent. So maybe they bring in the veteran and see if they can light a fire under Tank Dell's butt.
Man,
or
I
if they're
would
thinking,
have traded like the world for Tank Dell a year ago. That was
yeah,
good. I'm glad I did it.
Wait, who? I traded Tank Dell and I think a third for David Montgomery. That's how I could
traded with one
What's that?
tree
With one. Yeah, okay.
Hubbard and Dell. So I guess Hubbard worked out, and you got Thielen and Montgomery.
Old man Thielen. Nice.
hey, he worked out for you though.
He did. He was okay. Well, he was chef's kiss down the stretch when he got back on the field. He just made it work. So
Yeah,
thank you, Thielen.
Those 4 guys really worked out with Dell, the one that's arrow pointing down though.
When that was the guy who was supposed to be the one pointing up. All right. The Colts, they signed quarterback Daniel Jones to a 1-year, $14 million deal. Is there a possibility there's going to be a quarterback competition? No.
I don't think so.
Because he doesn't play anything like...
That's what they're saying. It's a quarterback competition between Richardson and Jones.
I think he's got to steal it from Anthony Richards, I think.
Okay, answer me this. Why would the Colts pursue multiple quarterbacks over the last couple years that have a dramatically different play style from their starting quarterback? Daniel Jones does not play like Anthony Richardson. Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, none of those guys played. Like
it's probably a beggars can't be choosers mindset here. If you want a backup quarterback or another quarterback that's going to compete,
100% agree.
You can get.
Okay, well, good luck to Daniel Jones.
I think it's a matter of, hey, we probably don't have a lot of money to throw around because they're not in a big market. They don't have a lot of money, so they probably like you said, it's a beggars can't be choosers. I'll take what I can get. And then if Richards goes down, I guess we just pivot and change our offense a little bit to complement the next guy up.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Andrew, in that they want Richardson to win the job, I think, and do well. But I mean, he's got a short leash now because they have a viable backup. What did they have last year? They had Flacco last year, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So now it's a little more, a little more competition than Flacco, just for the actual taking over the team and possibly the next year too. If
I don't know, the big meme on the internet today was Daniel Jones when he went to throw the ball and didn't release, it fell flat on his face.
That was Kenny Pickett.
Was that Pickett?
Okay, maybe they've both done it, but I saw one where Kenny Pickett went to throw the ball. Instead, it looked like he tried to tuck it back in and then ended up spiking it on the ground by accident.
Oh, I thought that was Jones. Oh no,
Daniel
Jones
is the one that ran for 80 yards and then tripped on
On a blade of
on
grass.
a rock or something.
Yes,
And
yes, that's right. That's right. So either way, Pickett or Jones, like it's not a really
It's
amazing endorsement
no, it's
for the guy
rough.
coming in to take the starting job.
Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars. They signed quarterback Nick Mullins to a 2-year backup deal. Wide receiver Diami Brown. I didn't know he was a free agent, but he signed a 1-year deal with the Jags. So leaving Washington, going to Jacksonville. Is there something here? Because Diami Brown flashed, but never really got a chance. Do you think there's a chance here because there's nobody else to compete with besides Brian Thomas, who's probably going to get like at least more than half of the targets? No,
I can't see it.
don't think so. Okay.
It could be a situation where he shocks the hell out of everybody, but
Okay. They signed tight end Hunter Long and tight end Johnny Munt. That was after letting go of Evan Ingram. Disappointing. All right, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans signed Van Jefferson to a 1-year deal. That means nothing. That was all they've got. AFC West. Interesting.
Yeah, the Titans are not doing anything, basically.
No, but they're doing more than what the Cowboys are.
yeah.
So Broncos, they re-signed Jarrett Stidham to a backup quarterback deal. They signed wide receiver Trent Sherfield. Was he with the Finners? Is that where he's from?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a nobody deal. But they did pick up tight end Evan Ingram to a 2-year, $23 million deal. I think that's fantastic. Knowing what Bo Nix did last year, I think Evan Ingram, if you have an Evan Ingram share somewhere, hold on to that. That might be worth something. He might actually be fantasy relevant this year.
Could very well be, yeah. He could have a bounce back year.
Sean Payton can use a tight end when he's got a tight end that he likes.
Yep.
Who was the guy? I can't even think of his name anymore. Dulcich? What is his name?
Greg Dulcich. Yeah, he's gone. I think he's with Arizona. I think they let him go.
Man, that's sad.
Everybody was super high on that guy.
He had great hair.
Coming in.
Old still.
Yeah.
Luscious locks.
He did. Big, puffy, curly. Yeah, jealous.
Mike's just jealous.
Totally jealous. Yeah. All right. Kansas City Chiefs signed Elijah Mitchell to a free agent deal. No terms announced yet. So that makes him a quality backup because that was a kid who performed well for the 49ers. So if he's backing up Isaiah Pacheco, that's not bad. Like that's to me, that's a good handcuff to try and grab.
I guess that puts Hunt on the outs again.
Probably. Marquise Brown, Hollywood, signed an $11 million deal to come back for 1 year with the Chiefs. So that's positive for all of my Hollywood shares. Maybe something will happen.
Well, so, I mean, I feel like they wanted to lock up a backup there with Rashee Rice's, still situation going on. And,
yeah, and injury recovery.
And Xavier Worthy had an arrest. If you
okay, when? Recently?
Yeah, last weekend or the weekend before.
He was arrested for domestic abuse or whatever, but he was not. He was released and not charged, though. So
wow.
There
okay.
was a scare. There was a 2 to 3 day. What the hell is going on in reality with Chiefs wide receivers every year? But he was cleared.
Cooper Kupp to the Chiefs, 1 year deal.
I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, no, actually, that would be pretty sweet. Who picked up Cooper Kupp at the playoff deadline in our league? Do you guys remember? Was that Josh?
Was someone traded for him?
Sure.
I think somebody picked him up. I think either Josh had him going into the playoffs or somebody traded for Cooper Kupp.
Oh, let me just double check.
Josh has had him since 2019, so.
Okay, so then Josh still owns it. So that's not bad. Knowing what was going to happen, be homeless. If he lands in Kansas City, that's...
Well, that's just... Well, hold on. He didn't land in Kansas City.
But if he does,
that'd be... Congratulate Josh on the Kansas City landing yet. We'll wait to see what happens.
All right, let's just spread this wild rumor.
Yeah, right.
Cooper Kupp. Congratulations, Josh. Cooper Kupp to Kansas City.
It's Adam Schefter in the next 48 hours. Mike is taking all the credit.
I will chug this beer if that happens if we get a pop up before this podcast ends. Cooper Kupp to the.
All right. Any moment now, it's going to happen. Okay, the Raiders. They go and trade for Geno Smith. I think it's a fair deal. 3rd round pick, quality quarterback. He's not above average. I think he's acceptable, better than what they had.
But now he's got nobody to throw to.
No, he's got Brock Bowers. And I imagine they'll draft a running back. I don't imagine they'll pay for one. I think they'll draft one. It's the wide receiver situation. Jacoby Myers is really the only guy. And he's not, like, he's a 2 on a team. He's not an alpha.
Yeah.
But if you own Brock Bowers, if they make Brock Bowers the alpha, the 1, then that's okay. Like, that is a fantastic deal. The Chargers, interesting moves by the Chargers. They signed Najee Harris to a 1-year deal for $5.25 million.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's way better than Gus Edwards or anybody else they had on the roster. So go Najee. If you own Najee, you got something. Where before I think you were pretty worried.
Yeah, that's as a Najee owner in our league, that's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'd be.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. The only thing else they did is they re-signed Jalen Reagor. He's probably a practice squad guy. Oh, and then let's look what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys signed Javonte Adams to a 1-year, $3 million deal. So they paid him nothing. That's a guy who could end up being a backup real quick.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't know why they would sign Javonte Williams and not Rico again. Whatever.
I don't know either. Like, maybe Rico wanted more money.
Yeah,
but
we don't see the terms yet.
Don't see the terms.
$3 million deal for Javonte, but I don't know. I mean, just anyone who would sign him. It's just like, why would, I don't know. What are you
pick
seeing?
What he can do. All right. Giants, they re-signed Tommy DeVito to a 1-year deal. They extended Darius Slayton, or they re-signed him to a 3-year deal worth $36 million. That was surprising, but good for him. And yeah, the rest of the guys, I can't even pronounce their name because I've never heard of them before. The Eagles, we talked about this. They traded for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Congrats. They extended Saquon Barkley. Big deal. They signed A.J. Dillon to a 1-year deal. Oh, that's weird.
Probably just in case Barkley goes down.
Yeah. I know they have other guys on the team. They got rid of Kenneth Gainwell. He went somewhere else, but A.J. Dillon. Commanders made a lot of moves. Let's see. Marcus Mariota re-signed on a 1-year deal. They re-signed Jeremy McNichols as a backup. They traded for Deebo Samuel, but I think he's a bust and a wash. They re-upped with John Bates at tight end. They gave him a 3-year, $21 million deal. They gave Zach Ertz a 1-year, a $6 million deal. So I don't know what's going on with Ben Sinnott. If he's going to be nobody now because they paid these guys some money. The NFC North, Chicago Bears. The only thing they've done is signed tight end Durham Smith to a 1-year deal. So that's nothing. The Lions have done nothing on offense. The Packers have done nothing on offense. The Vikings re-signed Aaron Jones to a 2-year, $20 million deal with $13 million guaranteed. What you got out of Aaron Jones, I think, is viable to come back. The Falcons signed a wide receiver by the name of Cardero Hodge, never heard of. Panthers re-signed Andy Dalton. They re-signed, here we go. They signed Rico Dowdle to a 1-year deal worth up to $6.25 million. So it doesn't list the base. It just says up to $6.25 million.
Well, maybe they got incentives built into it.
Yeah. They signed tight end Tommy Tremble to a 2-year deal worth $8 million. The Saints signed Dante Pettis. That guy's still around? That's funny. Okay. They signed Juwan Johnson to a $30 million deal. Wow. I didn't think they liked him. But 3 years and $30 million says they do.
Yeah, he's kind of come out of nowhere to actually be a thing. I should probably take him more seriously now.
Yeah.
Who's got him in our league? I wonder.
I've got him.
Oh.
I've got him in a few places.
You've got a backlog of tight ends.
I do. I've got a problem. I'm addicted to crappy quarterbacks and depth at tight end. Okay. The Tampa Bay Bucks, they re-signed Kyle Trask to a backup deal. They extended Chris Godwin. Arizona Cardinals, they signed Jacoby Brissett to a free agent deal. No terms yet. Zay Jones is signing a 1-year deal. That's all they got. Jimmy Garoppolo signed a 1-year deal to be a backup for the Rams. They restructured Matthew Stafford. They signed Devontae Adams to a 2-year deal worth $26 million guaranteed, but could be 46 if he actually catches the ball. 49ers, nobody. DeMarcus Robinson.
Mentioned my boy Tutu, man.
Oh, right. Sorry, I missed. Oh, he's way down there. They re-signed to a 1-year deal, $10 million. That includes a $5 million bonus and $5 million guaranteed. Oh, wow. So they paid him $10 million to come back for 1 year. Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, we got Devontae, obviously, so it's not like he's breaking the lineup, but
No.
hey, I'm hopeful he can be that third wide receiver.
Be that guy. The 49ers signed running back Patrick Taylor to a 1-year deal. Demarcus Robinson got a 2-year deal worth $6 million, and Luke Farrell, tight end, got paid a 3-year deal worth up to $20 million, but $11 million guaranteed. That's surprising. And the last team we're going to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks. They signed Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100 million deal with only $55 million guaranteed, but 37.5 of that is in year 1. So that is a scapegoat contract that locks him in for 3 years on the team's terms, but gets him paid year 1 to get him in the door. And then they signed.
Perform.
He better.
It didn't matter what that Sam collapsed at the end of the year. The market was too good for quarterbacks that he still got a starting job somewhere.
I think he got a starting job, but he didn't get the guaranteed money that I think he was looking for, because I think he was going to get upwards of $100 million guaranteed over a stretch of time. Now it's only $55 million guaranteed. So that, I think that playoff implosion hurt him financially, but he still has a chance to try and recoup that if he performs.
Yeah, he does it 1 year, has another great year, and then says, "Now you gotta pay me."
Okay. Now, those are all the players. Looks like we've covered everybody. Nobody was missed. But there is some other news. Myles Garrett signs a crazy deal with the Browns, getting paid over $40 million. Good for him. I'm now.
Crosby, same thing.
Max Crosby got a big deal, too. That's a good one. I see the Xavier Worthy news here. He won't be charged for arrest. Hopefully that doesn't go anywhere, and he doesn't do anything silly like doing that again. Ryan, I want you to take the lead on these last couple items here.
Yeah, well, as I was, looking over the doc, I just kind of wanted to write out, well, okay, so who still needs a quarterback, and where are they picking in the draft? So, there aren't too many quarterbacks left, but if you're a fan of these teams, you probably know that your situation is not good. So first off, the Titans, with Will Levis still are, I'm sure, desperately looking for another quarterback. But they do have the first pick in the NFL draft, so probably just going to come from there. Next up is the Browns. We talked a little about them. That I don't know what's going to happen with them, but Pickett, could be their guy, but they're picking number 2 in the draft. But there's no real guy at quarterback that can justify a number 2 pick. So what are they going to do with that? And then the Giants have no one. I think you mentioned DeVito there,
They got Tommy DeVito coming back. That's all they got right now.
And they have the 3rd pick in the draft. So if this was just a quarterback class, these 3 teams would just be like 1, 2, 3 right there. But they got screwed this year, and no idea what the Giants are going to do. And then the other team left in the dust here is the Steelers. They had Fields, and were probably trying to play for him a little more, but he went to the Jets. So Russell Wilson is kind of just sitting there still, but he's not on the team. He's a free agent. So, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of desire there to bring him back, or else they would have worked on that already. So if you're a fan of any of those 4 teams, what are you hoping for here? Because who you got available is pretty much like Aaron Rodgers.
And Russell Wilson.
I put in Kirk Cousins.
Someone's got to trade for him, and he's got a massive contract that has to be dealt with somehow.
Yep. The only other guy I could come up with is Jameis Winston. I mean, what?
It's better than no one.
Yeah, exactly. But I did want to mention, if you guys hadn't heard, but Joe Milton, Patriots, just making a little noise that they're not saying he's available for trade. They're saying we've received offers. So
silently saying we're willing to trade this kid.
But some people are asking. We're just saying people are asking. I mean, I really like the idea of a team grabbing someone like that. To be honest, I don't want the Patriots to trade him. but like, I mean, at least the guy showed some stuff, and if you'd rather have that than an unknown, third round quarterback pick, I would consider.
What do you think he'd be worth then if I had to give up a NFL draft pick, what would that be?
Yeah, I think probably a third round pick.
Yeah, I was going to say either a third or a fourth.
We traded Jimmy Garoppolo way back when for a second round pick. When we had Brady, an obvious quarterback, and then a kind of a backup who had shown some stuff. But he hasn't really shown enough, But
okay, so maybe a late third, early
market.
fourth. See if they can get something for him.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have if your team that's in need of a quarterback, and the last three guys are on your list: Jameis Winston, Gardner Minshew, or you trade let's say a fourth round pick for Joe Milton?
I'd almost take the stab at Milton.
To see if you can hit lightning in a bottle?
Yeah.
Right? You need to give your fans some hope,
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're bringing
if you're pulling
Minshew, there's no hope,
Yeah. If you're pulling in either Winston or Minshew, it's kind of like we're folding up the tent already and hoping for last place in the league. If that's the hope that you're going to give your team, then that would be like the Steelers or the Giants saying, hey, we're going to bring in one of those two guys and that's going to be our starter. And okay, well, we know we're going to go, 3-14 again.
I don't see how the Steelers cannot leave without Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or trading for Kirk Cousins. I don't think after sending away a second round pick and paying $130 million for DK Metcalf that they're going to try and ride it out by going to get Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, or Joe Milton.
Of those of the top three guys, I think they should go after Cousins. Russell Wilson, I don't think can play a full year. He's too fragile now and getting too old. Aaron Rodgers.
Do you guys know who's the? I'm sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Aaron Rodgers, I think is just done. Period. It doesn't matter what team he's going to go to. I think he needs to retire. He's going to tarnish his legacy by dragging this out too long. So of the three, I would say, and Mike, you know me, I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan.
No.
By any means. But I think of the 6 names on that list, Kirk Cousins would probably be the guy to try and get. Okay. Just to see if he's got one more year left.
Okay. Ryan, what were you saying?
I was going to say that to me, Cousins feels older than he is. So he's 36. Rodgers is 41. Russell Wilson is 36. I don't know.
I'd bring back Russell. And I'd bring in Jameis Winston or Gardner Minshew as my security blanket, knowing full well that I need to win because I made moves already that say I want to win now. So I'm going to bring in who I know, work with what I got, and maybe use Jameis Winston, who's just going to humchuck that ball, turn it over too many times, but at least I can move my offense. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do try and maybe they get lucky and get a quarterback at 21.
Maybe Shadur Sanders falls to them and they take the gamble and doesn't blow up in their face like.
Please drop down to 21 and let the Steelers take him.
Yeah, you'd love that for your Bengals.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
As of 5 hours ago, Russell Wilson's going to go visit the Browns. So.
Gross. Okay.
Go ahead. Again, go ahead.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, anybody else or anything else you want to talk about from the free agents frenzy that just occurred?
Not really. We pretty much drug out a whole lot of it.
We did. Okay, well then you know what? Let's talk about our divisional breakdown. We're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Denver Broncos, and those pesky Los Angeles Chargers. Now, last year, when we met over the summer, we made some predictions. Here's how the season actually played out. Kansas City went 15-2, which was more like a 9-8 season. They got oddly lucky in several games. Las Vegas went 4-13. Denver went 10-7. And Los Angeles went 11-6. Now, my predictions were that Kansas City was going to win the division, going 11-6. I had Las Vegas going 6-11, Denver going 5-12, and the Chargers going 6-11. So obviously undervalued both Denver and Los Angeles and didn't quite understand how bad the Raiders were going to be. Andrew, what were your predictions like?
Very similar to what yours were, like 12-5 for the Chiefs, 6-11 for Vegas. I thought Denver might squeak out a little bit better with 7-10, and then the Chargers at 9-8. So I was off a little bit by.
You are the highest of the three of us, though, for the Chargers. You honestly thought that they were going to have a good season, and they did, far better than we all expected.
He was the highest on the Broncos too, 7-10. It's the closest to the 10-7 they finished. They really got surprised.
Yep.
All right, Slick. How did you how'd you fare?
Andrew got two feathers in his cap there for his predictions. I didn't do anything too crazy here. I just did 12-5 for the Chiefs, similar to Andrew. So I guess we kind of tied for closest. For the Raiders, I just had 5-12. So technically, I'm the closest there. I'll take it to the 4-13. So I guess that's 2. And then Denver, though, I was just 5-12, just like Mike. So Andrew takes that one. And then the Chargers, almost there. I went 8-9. Andrew at 9-8. So he did get the closest to that, to the 11-6. So I think Andrew and I tied 2 each, 2 predictions closest, but nothing not like some of the other reviews you've done where people hit it head on. I mean, we didn't get close.
No.
The big takeaway from this division is that Denver and Los Angeles really gelled and improved and surprised a lot of teams last year. If they can build on that, they'll push Kansas City for the division now. Because like you said, Mike, that 15-2 record should have been more like 12-5, 11-6. They won some games by a last minute play that this year they might not win it. They could go from the top down to the bottom. You know, if everybody sweeps them in the division, there's 6 losses right there on them.
Okay. Well, I expect this division to be far more competitive next year, knowing what we know now out of Denver, the Chargers, and Kansas City. It should be good. Las Vegas, I think, is still lagging a little bit until they solidify their quarterback situation. Until then, we're going to have to decide who are the best fantasy assets to play. And our lineups last year were full of some interesting choices. So the quarterback that I had was Patrick Mahomes. Andrew, you went Patrick Mahomes. Slick, you went Justin Herbert, taking a wild card there. No one saw this coming, though. It was Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bo Nix finished.
And Mahomes beat Herbert too anyway, so I was wrong there too.
Okay. Bo Nix finished 1-2. Well, let's see. Let's pull it up here. He finished quarterback 7 on the year. Mahomes finished quarterback 11. And Herbert, Justin Herbert finished at quarterback 12. So super close.
And that shows how tight that division is going to be.
Yep.
You got 3 top 12 quarterbacks and number 12 and what did you say Knicks was 8 or 7?
7.
Could climb up even higher. I don't see Mahomes climbing any higher than 11 this year. They just haven't done enough to help the team, except getting your own.
How do you put this together? Because like Knicks, I wouldn't even guess now, even after knowing what happened in the season. If you said who got the most points, I would never have thought Bo Nix as the rookie actually outscored Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Crazy.
From a fantasy standpoint, he was fantastic. Running back, we all picked Isaiah Pacheco. We thought good things were going to happen. Unfortunately, he missed a good chunk of the season. And I had here originally Kareem Hunt with 144, but that is not true. It is actually J.K. Dobbins J.K. Dobbins with 176. He finished as running back 23. So the best running back of this was running back 23.
And he missed 4 games too. So
like that is.
And then you also look at Hunt, right? You look at Hunt missing the beginning of the year. I mean, both of them had really both of the, if you go like points per game that they actually played, they would have been a heck of a lot higher up on the
Hunt was running back 30 and didn't start till week 4 and was inconsistent because he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games under 10 points, 7 games under 10 points. So half a season under 10 points.
It's just for the way that he performed for the Chiefs. Like, he was their guy when they were pooping the bed.
Now
it's kind of like the Bo Nix, right? You would never have projected Hunt to have been up there.
And the 2 winners of the highest number of points this season in the division, Hunt and Dobbins, probably won't even be back on their teams.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, next up, we've got wide receiver. We all picked Davante Adams. We thought that was going to work out. Not the case. Oddly enough, Davante Adams did perform well. He finished as wide receiver 14, tying fellow division rival Ladd McConkey. So they finished in a tie, but Courtland Sutton, which was on nobody's radar, finished as wide receiver 13. Who was absolutely fantastic. As the Courtland Sutton owner, I loved what he brought to me in my championship run. But the fact that Ladd McConkey, a rookie, kept pace with Davante Adams, who made a team change in the middle of the year.
Yeah, incredible season for the rookie. Yep. And the only one that picked it was Slick.
Yeah, your Ladd McConkey is going to give it to you because I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me to put Davante Adams in there. Ladd McConkey deserves that spot.
Yeah.
And then tight ends, we all picked Travis Kelce, but Brock Bowers as the number 1 tight end in all of football. 7 points. George Kittle, second place. Trey McBride, third. Jonnu Smith, fourth. Where did Travis Kelce finish? Oh, he's down there at 6 with a total of 146 points. So
Bowers had
60 points above.
61 points, yep.
Wow.
And at tight end, that is a huge discrepancy. And unfortunately, I think Travis Kelce is probably done now. Because I think that the Chiefs have seen what Noah Gray can do, and they'll be going to him more often.
They should. They've got to work him in after seeing how Travis Kelce really petered off. You got to phase him out. You can't make him a focal point. You got to move on. Yeah.
I mean, unless he gets to the fountain of youth and has just one last big shot at it, he'll probably stay at around 6 or 7 in the tight end rankings.
Do you think Noah Gray is waiting in the wings for real? Or do
he had how about he had 2 or 3 2-touchdown games? Hang on, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, two touchdown games last year. Yeah.
Noah Gray.
Weeks 11 and 12 back to back, nonetheless.
Okay, so we know the kid can play. He's only 25. He's got 4 years, and he's kind of at that age where tight ends are going to start becoming relevant. Like they're finding their groove. Now his snap percentage, he played 50% of the snaps the entire season. He went over it a couple times. He was under in the 40 range, but he played at least 50% of the snaps all season long. Targets 3, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 5, 4, 6, 5, 5, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, as the highly addicted tight end guy, I will find him and stash him where I can.
All right, you heard it, Gabriel. Go send your offers to Mike.
I got a Juwan Johnson ready to go if you want to make a deal.
He was a round 5 pick back in the 2021 draft. So
and where did he actually end up for the season in the rankings?
Wow.
A lot higher than you would expect for a backup tight end.
For a backup to Travis Kelce, even.
Yes.
Yeah.
So realistically, if you think about 32 teams, there were 12 other tight ends that were starters that were shittier than him. So that tells you
I don't know who it
how bad
says
it drops
so
off.
much about though. It might just say something about how bad tight ends were last year.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
the tight end position has always been a barren landscape.
If you look at Smythe from Miami, probably didn't do a whole lot.
You mean Jono Smith?
Or Junior Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
Or even Smythe. Smythe
there was a Durham Smythe, but no, he didn't.
Where was he then?
I don't.
Like, he just signed with somebody.
He
but
did.
Where was he last?
Still, you
find out where he was.
can't have Durnan Smythe. How dare you bring up his name? We've spoken it too many times already.
Andrew was
Oh,
right.
he went to Chicago. That's right.
He finished tight end 83.
There you go.
He got 9.8 points last year. Woohoo!
And the Bears ran out to sign him. Woohoo!
Wow, yeah.
You should be loving that much.
Yeah, I think it's great. Go get a nobody. Love it.
I'm still waiting for my Jelani Woods shares to hit. He's still sitting on my. He just goes IR before the season every year, so he's always like my first guy in my IR slot, and I'm just like, okay, he's a Colts tight end if anyone remembers.
I remember because they had they had Jelani Woods, they had that big guy everyone called. What was his name?
Big guy from he played basketball too.
They had three guys that they would rotate through, and one of them would be good. You just never knew which one it was going to be.
You're talking about for the Colts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had Ogletree, Mallory.
He's not on the team anymore though, so I can't.
Woods,
on the current.
McKinnon, and Ogogobaga.
No, I don't think it was him. Either way.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to point out, gentlemen, that this ends season 4 of our podcast. The next time we get back together, we will be starting off season 5 as we prepare for the new league season. Free agency is upon us. The draft is around the corner, and we have finally put to bed everything from last year. So thank you, Ryan, for joining us and closing out this auspicious occasion. We are at episode 198. 2 away from the big 200.
Nice. Who's going to get lucky 200?
I don't know. The schedule right now is we will be moving into our AFC and NFC position review, which I think is going to be a waste of time given how things will change dramatically.
Yeah.
So it'll be more of a needs analysis for those positions in each of those conferences. Like trying to analyze, will the Tennessee Titans take Cam Ward or will they trade out and live with Will Levis as their future?
Yeah.
If you have the number 1 pick this year, are you scanning through the other teams to say who might be the first overall pick next year? And let's go make a deal with them to give them our first this year so we can get their first, possibly get their first next year or maybe the year after. Do you think teams do that? Do you think that's an analysis strategy that they would employ if they don't want to take Cam Ward?
I think it's more likely for the number 2 team or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to take Cam Ward for Tennessee.
I don't think so.
A whole nother year,
If you have Will Levis as your quarterback, yes, I think you do have to take Cam Ward. I think you got to do something because Will Levis is not the guy. But there's that generational talent, that Abdul Carter, that defensive end. Do you take him and hope that you suck again next year? And
what might be an interesting scenario is they trade down to the Giants at what was number 3?
Giants 3, yeah.
They say to the Giants, you take the number 1 this year because everybody knows the Giants are going to suck again. They're going to be near the bottom.
Sure, yeah.
We'll move down to number 3. We take Travis Hunter. You can take your future quarterback, but you're going to still end up at the bottom of the year. We will end up near the bottom of the year this year again, and then have like a 1, 2, 2 guys in the top 5, 2 picks in the top 5 next year.
There's no way they would trade 2 firsts to move up to the 101 if they're sitting at 103.
No. They trade. Oh yeah. You're right.
You're not doing that for 2 spots.
A
first and a second, maybe. Like I'll give you my one.
has this ever happened before? Something like this, where a team in the quarterback need has not taken a quarterback number one, and instead they've traded out of it. Can't think of
I don't know.
in recent memory.
I don't know if they've traded out, but I think they might have pivoted and picked somebody else because they didn't have the first overall.
Well, yeah. Do you remember there's the one year with like the only other year that's probably a little more parallel to what's going to happen this year, where it was like Malik Willis was like the second quarterback to get drafted, but it was drafted in like the second round or something because it was just a year where there was just no other quarterbacks.
Do you guys remember the year Mitch Trubisky was drafted? Because the Chicago Bears traded up one spot or two spots in 20. Here we go. Show me the draft results. Oh, it's still loading.
All right, I'm still going on my Malik tangent while you look that up too. All right, yeah, that was the 2022 draft, not even that long ago, where Malik Willis was drafted in the third round. Crazy.
Okay. Cleveland Browns in the first round took Myles Garrett. So that's a team who chose the best talented player at the position instead of picking a quarterback. The number 2, they traded with San Francisco. They moved up from 3 to the 2 position. Details of the trade. Can I see that? Show me something. Yeah, so they moved up one spot to draft Mitch Trubisky. Patrick Mahomes went at 10. Deshaun Watson went at 12. To Houston. Yeah, I can't seem to find. Deshaun Kaiser went in the second round to the Cleveland Browns. So there you go. The Cleveland Browns drafted quarterback Deshaun Kaiser in the second round.
What year was
pick
this?
2017.
I don't even know that name.
No.
Yeah, so instead of them taking Mahomes
or Mitch Trubisky or somebody at number 1,
they took Myles Garrett when obviously they needed a quarterback.
Yeah.
But, I mean, giving up on Myles Garrett would be tough, would be really tough. And that would be the same thing. That'll be the same thing this year with that defensive player. He's a generational player. You know, the Colts might take him.
Well, now I'll update you on the 2022 NFL draft, which is in my recent memory the longest I've waited to see a quarterback be taken. So it was Kenny Pickett with the 20th pick was the first quarterback taken in that draft by Pittsburgh.
That was not a good year.
And Malik Willis in the third round after that. That's crazy.
Yep.
It was not a good quarterback draft class. Well, it's kind of neat to go back and have a look. In that 2017 draft, the Cleveland Browns had 2 first-round picks. Their first pick was Myles Garrett. And then at pick 29, they picked David Njoku, tight end.
Both those players worked out for them.
They did, yeah. Both of those guys.
The rest of their draft kind of probably fell off the cliff after that.
Just the entire first round. Myles Garrett, Mitch Trubisky, Solomon Thomas. I don't think he even turned into anybody. Leonard Fournette was number 4. Corey Davis, number 5. Jamal Adams, number 6. Then we had wide receiver Mike Williams at number 7. Christian McCaffrey, number 8. Wide receiver John Ross at 9. Patrick Mahomes at 10. Marshawn Lattimore, number 11. Deshaun Watson was 12. A linebacker went 13. A defensive end, Derek Barnett. Malik Hooker, safety for the Colts. Marlon Humphrey, Jonathan Allen, Adoree Jackson, O.J. Howard, tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, drafted 19th overall. O.J. Howard. Oh, yeah. And then Evan Ingram was at 23. Jabril Peppers, Tre'Davious White. So there is some notable names. T.J. Watt was number 30. Dalvin Cook in the second round. Curtis Samuel, Zay Jones in the second round. Joe Mixon in the second round. My goodness. Throwing back some memories here. Juju Smith-Schuster in the second round of Pittsburgh. Alvin Kamara in the third round. Cooper Kupp in the third round. It's kind of fun looking back. All right.
Yeah. I had one more piece of trivia on that.
Okay, what do you got?
2022 draft. There's one quarterback who's a legitimate starting quarterback that came out of that draft. You guys know who it was?
In 22?
2022, the one where Kenny Pickett went pick 20
Yeah.
and then
Malik Willis was the other name.
5 years ago.
And so there was
5 years ago.
Yeah.
2022. Was it 5? That's 3.
3.
Or 3 years ago. Sorry. Lawrence? No,
Nope.
he's been around longer.
Well, he would have been number 1 overall.
Yep. So you got to think a late round guy.
Late round guy.
And he's significant.
Yep. He's the unquestioned starter now.
Unquestioned starter. Wasn't Brock Purdy, was it?
It was Brock Purdy with the last pick in the draft. 2020.
That was his draft.
Yep.
Good for him, Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant. Well, I did hear an interesting story that with the 49ers cleaning house and kind of in a tough spot, maybe they trade away Brock Purdy instead of paying him.
He choked in the big games last year.
Right? So, Tennessee, do you want to give up Cam Ward for Brock Purdy? Oh, hey, New York, I hear you need a quarterback. I got a Brock Purdy over here. How about that 103?
There you go.
That's what I want the Patriots to do with Joe Milton.
Yeah, just try and get a really high draft pick.
Yep.
And then watch it explode.
Although I do feel a little bad about it because, like, why do you draft Joe Milton? Oh, and he's good, and then you want to trade him away? Like, I mean, we drafted him
to be this
for a reason.
Yeah, we drafted him, and it turns out to be good. So just be happy, and keep him on your team. I'm also okay with that too.
Yeah. It's good to have quality backups. It's a plethora of riches. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for this evening. Appreciate your time, all your insight and effort and work you put into this. It's been a great and wonderful season. I'm looking forward to season 5 and repeating as your guys' champion. I look forward to holding that crown up high and representing you all on the world stage. Your silence is deafening.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks, guys, for continuing this podcast tradition. It's been awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
It was a blast being on again.
All right, gentlemen, again, I bid you guys adieu from one poor man to another. Remember, if it's not fun, it is not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.